Everybody, welcome back to the weekly walk-off. It is Sunday, August 6th. I'm here with Nate. We got a great show coming up. We're going to talk about the yields that we've gotten on Sorare MLB so far this season. Some big-time numbers from Nate and I. Just having a blast with this Sorare season. We are going to dive into the playoff bracket and what that looks like, what the implications are on Sorare. As far as your gallery goes, that was a great suggestion from the Discord this past week. So I know some people new to baseball out there are going to get value out of it. Of course, also, if you know and have been following baseball for a while, you're definitely going to get value out of that as well. To start off the show, I think we should talk about the news of the past weekend. The Discord was going absolutely crazy. I'm going to share my screen with you right now and give you some Jose Ramirez.
Unreal. Couldn't believe what I was seeing. I was watching baseball with a buddy last night and they pulled it up. I couldn't even believe they showed it during the Dodgers broadcast. And dude, TA misses 3 shots there with J-Ram's head down, and then all it took was one swing. The radio call is the best part of the whole thing. Have you heard the whole radio call?
There it is. There's an edit. Unbelievable knockout punch from J-Ram. Unbelievable call, too. The guy was going crazy. That was amazing.
Yeah, man. I mean, we haven't seen anything like that since Odor and Bautista went toe-to-toe out on second base on that hard slide. I mean, I can think of some brawls when we were much younger, when it was a different game. You know, I can think of the Yankees-Red Sox brawl where Veritek and A-Rod got into it, and you used to see stuff like that, but the unwritten rules have shifted a lot in the last 10 years, and so you just don't see the same volume of it. So when something like that happens, it's, man, you know somebody pissed somebody off.
Oh, my goodness. And the funny thing, J-Ram in the lineup today, apparently they haven't come down with punishments quite yet. So they're still figuring out what to do. But TA is the one that drops the gloves. Just throws them down, puts his dukes up. First one swinging, and night from J-Ram. It was hilarious. Pipe it up in the chats. We always want to see what you guys are watching in baseball over the past week. Let us know some topics that you want to talk about this episode. That one was just incredible. Like I said, it was going off in the Discord. I couldn't even believe it. I got back from a run yesterday and I saw the Discord going crazy and I was like, wait, what? That happened today? Howdy, Brendan. What's going on, man? With that, I think an awesome segment. Like I said, I was on a run yesterday. A segue rather. I was on a run yesterday when I saw that coming back from my Discord, but I did want to make it a personal announcement. I'm super pumped on this, guys. I will be running the New York City Marathon. I put it up on Twitter, and that is 3 months from today. So 26.2, that'll be going down November 5th. 2023 in New York City. I am super excited. I'm actually running it with the Movember Foundation. So for those of you who know, it's a foundation. I think it started in Australia, and they are the Mustache Foundation. They raised $1.2 billion for men's health causes like testicular cancer, prostate cancer, and suicide prevention. So if you have the means to and want to, I put my link down in the description of the video. There's me with a nice mustache. I'm bringing that back 1,000%. My target is 3,500. Part of that carried over. So the goal for this year is 3,000. I'm at 650 right now and just kind of getting the fundraising kicked off. So the link again is in the description of the video. If you can and do donate, I'm definitely going to shout you out, maybe even give you a little, maybe small gift in the form of a Sorare card for doing so. So appreciate you all, and I'll keep you posted with the training and the mileage and all that kind of stuff. So after this episode, I'm actually going on an 80-minute run today. So I'm pretty fired up.
Good stuff, man. Good luck with that. And very impressive stash. I can grow a decent stash, but you put me to shame with that.
That, it's not bad. It helps when you go black and white on the photo.
Yeah.
And then also, you bust out the Just for Men Die. These are the tips.
Oh yeah.
So
Love it.
yeah, man, I'm super hyped on that. It's gonna be fun. Man, it's gonna be a journey too, though, because I'm already starting to feel it. It's been a while since I've been in the running game, and man, it's cool to kind of put your mind to it. It's gonna be a cool accomplishment and amazing. So
I've never been in the running game and don't intend to be, but I'm impressed by those who are. So I wish you the best of luck.
maybe I'll come out to Boston one day. Who knows? If I get on a streak, I'll do Boston Marathon Day.
We'll have to do a whole Patriots Day.
Yeah. Amazing. Let's talk some baseball. Man, what's been going on this week? The Cubbies got hot. We're putting up like football scores against the Reds.
I mean,
that was crazy.
Tons of scoring this weekend. Big games in general.
I know that I'm looking pretty good when it comes to some podiums right now. Maybe we kind of just take a look at what we got. I think one of the main points of the episode here is to kind of take a look at the yields. That is the title of the episode, like yielding over $1,000 worth of rewards, like between the two of us so far this season. Ace, what's going on? So it's been definitely a successful season. I see it that way. I think you do as well. And just like really excited to see where Sorare has gotten to so far and where it's going into, this postseason and, even future seasons. So we'll talk about that. I got some more rewards hopefully coming up today. We got some stuff that we're sweating out. And again, in the Discord, people were talking about the playoffs. So they want to talk about some of the strategies that might be changing up going into the MLB playoffs. And I think pitching is one of the main things that is altered in the postseason as opposed to in the regular season. So Medic coming in just a little bit late. The clip to start the video of J-Ram with an edit knocking out TA. Unbelievable. Let's take a look at what we got. Let's dive into the game week.
Let's do it. You gonna pull yours up first?
Yeah, I'll pull mine up first so you can go. Here's where I went wrong, man. I kind of put this National League. I think I sent you this in a DM, but I wanted to go Philly stack with a little mini, Blue Jay stack and rare All-Star. Going full J stack this week would have been actually really nice. Brandon Belt, Varsho. Oh, sorry. They played the Sox and just annihilated the Sox.
It's all good. Have at it.
But Belt and Varsho, 47 from Brandon Belt, 44 from Varsho. It's good to see him back. But they are stacking up in my AL lineup instead. And the Phillies, Real Muto and Marsh, who's now on the 10-day IL, didn't do too hot. Didn't get any save action from Jansen either. So 166, not bad, but it's not going to get you up there into a yield. Where it was really interesting was I was really debating the full Brave stack against the Cubs, and I decided to go mini stack, Riley Olsen, the two hottest guys, and then go kind of like a little mini Cardinal stack with my just best remaining outfielder. So Arenado, Contreras did pretty good. Ashcraft has been looking really good lately. And then Morel just kind of had a dud of a week after a good week last week. So had I had gone full stack there, I would have had 27 and 24 from Murphy, who did all of their damage on Friday, but still would have added additional 7, 21, 28 points. So putting me up in the, 210 range, which should be good to yield in that competition. So, man, if I could get a Griffin Jax relief appearance here, that would be great. I don't know what the score of that game is, but maybe I get a Topa appearance instead, because if Teoscar's putting up 24 today, then maybe that means the Mariners are on top. Take a look into that now. But overall, a pretty good week. I think the best lineup that I have is right here, 78th out of almost 3,000, 231 points. Yandy, it's nice to play him in the right circumstance because he's put up some duds as of recent and, started off the season hot. But, then you got J-Ram, Jordan looks fully back. Lindor has been consistent. And then Seager just back with the home run in his first at bat from the IL. So love seeing that.
Yeah, that's huge. When a guy goes out with an injury, you never know what he's gonna be right when he gets back. You know, is it gonna linger? Is he gonna take some time to heat back up again? But he's dealt with a lot of injuries. He's only played like 60, 70 games so far this year, but when he's been playing, man, he has moved the needle, especially in this format. He just has big games. And
Yep.
for me, one of my biggest lineups this week is a Texas stack. And
I'm gonna pop into your
unfortunately, my
screen right
pitching
now.
let me. Yeah, here. So this is my biggest lineup this week. I'm in 39th in limited AL, and it's all from the Texas stack. I mean, Garcia 73, Semien 50, and you know, you're not mad at anybody getting you 30 points on the low side. But as you can see, we just talked about Toronto took it to Boston this weekend, which is brutal because we were chasing them for that last wild card spot, and now we're in pretty rough shape. Luis Castillo put up a total dud. He gave up like 6 or 7 runs. So 11 points total from my pitching and still have 236 points on that. So hopefully that can hold on to a tier 3, although we'll see because there's still plenty of baseball left. I imagine it's still going to slip, but yeah, a lot of what could have been for me this week. A lot of 188 in NL, 189 in Pro, 183 in Limited All-Star. Marte's got 0. I had 2 closers put up 0 with Jansen and Robertson. Didn't love my relief pitching options this week. Doval, who I usually lean on, only had 2 games, and they were both against Oakland. So just a lot of what could have been here. Probably going to cash on a couple small ones. But yeah, I actually unfortunately lost my streak last game week. I had cashed in 18 straight game weeks.
Ooh,
And, it was a nice.
That is a hot streak. I wish we had like a like a sound effect for that.
Yeah, we're gonna start putting together a little soundboard.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so nice streak. To your point, we're gonna pull together so for those of you who don't know, I think we've talked about this before, but Eric and I have been tracking all of our results through the season because a big part of this season has been to just kind of figure out what we feel the upside and downside of playing this game is. Like, we both love it on the surface. It's a fun game. It's fantasy baseball. It's unique. It's different, but it still remained to be seen. Can it be a positive investment? It's a longer term thing. We've talked about that a lot. It's something where you put money into a collection and the prizes are relatively small compared to the money that you have to put in to win those prizes up front anyway. But I think that what we're both realizing is that we've figured out that you can regularly cash in these things. You're not going to hit a home run every week, right? You might be in any given week grabbing a 75-cent card or a $3 card, but those add up. And we're in game week 36 right now. So you win a few bucks each week, it adds up. And then we each have had some big single digit finishes that lead to, a $25 limited card plus a little bit of cash on the side. And, I've recouped about 40% of my collection value through 2/3 of my first season playing this, and that collection's not going anywhere. So to me, that's a really exciting prospect that by the time I'm at the end of year 2 or year 3 of playing this, I'm going to have a collection that is strictly making me money. And,
Yep.
You and I are both playing the game at this point where we're winning prizes, we're selling them if they don't fit the mold of something that we're working on, and we're letting that money roll into the next strategy or just kind of keep some cash on the sideline until we see something pop up that we like. For me this week, it was Pete Alonso. His floor is at $30, and most studs of his caliber are twice that. We were just talking before we went live, most stud players, we're talking Soto, Vlad, Olson, guys of that nature, Adolis Garcia, these guys are all in that $60 range. Pete Alonso's 30. I buy values. It's not about how much I like a guy or don't like a guy. It's, do I think he's undervalued? And I think that's kind of the strategy that both of us have taken.
For sure. I mean, first of all, one of the things that jumped out, you said in a couple of years, I think you probably going to do it sooner than that. I think you're going to turn break even before that, just because of the snowball effect. Like you get the snowball effect going and you make some buys, and especially knowing what we know, being able to buy strategically in the MLB offseason when prices dip, that's going to be really cool too. Because we're just going to be able to buy for better prices and continue like the success that we've had this year into next season. So, I mean, it's been a blast. Exactly what you said. I mean, prices right now for a good bat, like $60, which is up there for sure. But that's because of the supply has been super limited, and also, people are getting ahead of the game going into the postseason and wanting those bats that are going to be there, wanting the stacks that are going to be relevant in there, which is why most of the people who are in my gallery are, going to have at least a chance at having an appearance in the MLB postseason. So I think one of my strategies going into it, and we'll pull it up in a second and kind of explain it and like look at a bracket and stuff like that. But one of my strategies that I was talking about is just like, I'm going to have depth for less competition. So I'm just going to plan on like entering less competitive competitions, but it's going to carry me through the postseason with basically what I have already, with making a couple buys, couple trades here and there. And it'll be a ton of fun. I think one other thing that we wanted to do too is, challenge the audience to make a comment on this video, not in the live chat, but later on, like comment on this video. Either like if you've been tracking your rewards, what your biggest rewards have been, and also generally like if you even have a sense of what your ROI has been on your current gallery. Like we love to kind of hear all that information, and we could pull up some of those comments and talk about them next week when we really dive into like the specific numbers and the yields that Nate and I have gone through this season. So I mean, just in general though, like talking so far, the amount of rewards that I've rallied up is $481. So that's my total rough yield, not including the stuff that I'm hopefully going to be cashing in on this week. So some of that is hold value, some of that is sale value, but roughly that's what we're kind of looking at here.
Yeah. And I guess I didn't fully finish that thought before, but like you just said, we're going to actually pull all this data from our two contests. I'm going to put together some graphics and find some things that probably you and I don't even realize yet that we have in terms of the data, and just like the percentage of cash and the recoup on investment. And I think that these are the questions that they were certainly the questions I was asking myself as I embarked on this with my first couple $100 to start. And I think that's probably what a lot of people are asking, and they should be, right? You could just do this for fun. But to me, like, I play fantasy sports to win. It's a competitive outlet, and I want to figure out if it's something that I can lead into and figure out a system where my collection is working for me. So I'm looking forward to diving into those numbers, and we'll pull up some graphics next week with the specifics on what you and I have done so far. But like you said, if there's anything that people want to know specifically, or if you've got data on your own finishes, would love to see that stuff, and we'll bake it in however we can.
Yeah, no doubt. What's your rough number you're looking at? You want to tease that for us too?
For my yield so far?
Yeah.
Right around $400.
Around 400?
Right around $400.
Yeah. And I'm gonna come in next week with a little bit more of my tally on, my money in also. That's the one thing that I didn't have like completely dialed down yet, just between like so many transactions here and there, transfers in, transfers out. It gets a little bit confusing, but I love this, man. Perfect Chicken. Earn $25 in cards, completely free contest.
It's pretty good ROI.
That's amazing. That's awesome, man.
That's very impressive for anybody that hasn't, taken a dive into Sorare yet. It is not easy to win with no money spent. So that is an impressive feat.
Yeah, Perfect Chicken. Let us know what your biggest reward is, because to yield, I've done it 3 times this season on Common All-Star, which is a lot, I think. 3 times out of 36. That's coming in the top 200 out of 30,000. So, you could go.
Is it top 200, not top 100?
Is it top 100? I think top.
No, it's only top 100
top 100. Oh, yeah, that's right. Top 200 is minors, which I have not gotten.
Yeah, I have cashed in minors, which made me ineligible to play anymore. So I did cash once in minors, but I'm yet to cash in All-Star. I've got 4 or 5 top 500 finishes to grab a T1 common, which is always exciting. But, and, you know, I put up good numbers most weeks. I'm usually grabbing at least a tier 2 common, but to, like you said, it's out of 30,000 people. Top 100 is tough to do. So $25 on just that it's impressive.
With that being said, too, there's even people in the Discord, and I will say, if you're in here, join the Discord. The link's in the description. Also, it's super fun in there, man. There's a great group of people, always looking to be helpful in there. But somebody was just talking about, you know, like they're just scratching for a tier 1 comment, you know, like, and even that, I'm like, dude, just keep on chipping away at it. You'll get there. But a tier 1 comment is top 500 out of 30,000.
Yep.
That's like incredibly hard to do, you know, like that's ridiculous. So like if you're getting up into those levels, or even if you're getting tier 2s consistently, that's really good. And it's just super fun. So
exactly that, to me, I'm playing the common contest because it's fun. And I think that's a testament to what Sorare has built, right? Because I have real money invested in my priority lineups, and yet I still submit that common lineup each week because it's fun. I've got good cards. There is upside there, and it's fun to have one more lineup to play.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at the playoff picture then. I got an article that I'm going to pull up here, and we got a great crew in here too. So I want to hear in the chats like what people are predicting for the playoffs. I know Ace is an O's fan. I'm probably going to be eating my words because I've gone on to another stream and even probably said it on this stream that I thought the O's were going to fall off this year. I may have to start retracting my words, my statement on that. But they're looking strong, man. They've been a ton of fun to watch this year, and I never denied that. I just didn't think their pitching was going to hold up. And now Gibson's just looking like an ace every single time, except for, you know, when I prioritized him in one of my lineups. And now they got Flaherty, and Flaherty looked really good the other day. So maybe he just needed to change of scenery over there. You know, I'm sure he's stoked to be thrown to Adley. So,
For sure. That division continues to be super interesting. The Red Sox are still a really good team with a whole lot of pitchers that are hurt. We're supposed to be getting Sale, Houck, Whitlock, Story, but it could be too little too late. Getting swept by the Jays this weekend is not going to help.
Yep. That's tough. In division rivals, man, it's tough to drop those games because not only are you going after that division because everyone's still in it, maybe not the East at this point, 12.5, but like every single team in that division is also fighting for the wild card too. So picking each other off, man, that's just tough. I pulled up the article, but kind of just taking a look at the standings real quick too, and especially the wild card standings. We have Baltimore 3 games up in the East, Minnesota 4 games up on Cleveland in the Central, kind of pulling away there. I'm actually surprised to see that a little bit. I didn't think Minnesota was playing too good recently either, but apparently maybe they've gotten hot this past week. I mean, they're 4-6 over their last 10, so maybe Cleveland's just been bad.
Yeah, I think Cleveland's just slipping a little bit, but still anybody's division.
I mean, Josh Bell got hot and they traded him away too. I mean, like I guess this is our first real episode since the trade deadline too.
Yeah, that's true. We haven't talked about Scherzer, Verlander.
Yeah.
It was honestly a relatively unexciting trading deadline. I thought, I think most people would agree. The fact that the Mets suck, it's not like we didn't already know that. I do think that it's still an interesting storyline because they could have still played for next year. Now it feels like they're playing for a couple of years out. So it is a storyline, but yeah, I mean, not a whole lot of interesting stuff. Like you had some middling starting pitchers move around, Lorenzen, Flaherty, guys that you'd be excited to add, but like Baltimore could have done a lot more. You've been mediocre for a real long time, and now you're really good. And why is that all you do there? It would have been
most frustrating. It's the most frustrating part of the deadline.
Yeah.
Sorry for cutting you off.
No, you're good. You're good. I mean, it would have been nice if the Red Sox went and just got one guy like Flaherty, but like Baltimore should have done so much more. Like you're in first place, man. Run with it.
Dude, I couldn't agree more. I mean, and they have the system too. It's just everything was looking, I mean, maybe they're happy with the guys that they have in the dugout and they're just that confident that they can get it done. They didn't see it fit. I don't know, man, but I mean, you hope that they make a deep run without making those moves. You never know, man. But
Yeah. I
we'll
saw
see.
something on, I think it was Jared Carabas from Barstool, and who is a big Red Sox fan and a hater of the Astros, like so many are. But he put out this tweet, which was basically, you can say what you want about the Astros, but they do what every fan wants their team to do when it comes to competing for championships, right? They go and get players, they double down on what they've got, they pay their stars, like they don't let guys walk. They invest into that team. And if you're a Houston Astros fan, you must just absolutely love that, because I know that I would.
Oh, I would be all about that. That's amazing. I mean, Ace says they're not giving up top prospects for a rental, but at the same time, and it's too crowded over there. They have too many prospects.
Yeah.
They're all young. They're all good prospects. And everyone in their minor league system is getting blocked by studs that are just like 24-year-olds in the bigs. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, go get an arm, get Cease, get someone,
Yeah.
But
Someone said the other day something to the effect of, eventually you got to go and prune the crops, right? Like, you can't consume everything yourself. If you have the luxury of having those extra young talent down the farm system, and you're already stacked full of young talent up at the bigs, well, double down on the fact that you're in first place in the hardest division in baseball and go for a championship.
I guess I get it right here. The teams wanted too much. Holiday, Gunnar, Heston Kjerstad, all untouchable. Yeah, I get that. I mean, yeah, those are really solid prospects, but they have just so much. Like, you think that they could get a deal done somehow. But anyways, enough of that. Twins are out ahead of the Guardians. Medic thinks the Guardians are going to come back. I think the Guardians will be all right. Selling Bell was weird. Don't know what they're doing health-wise, pitching. Rangers have been able to hold off the Astros so far, even with Eovaldi going down. And I don't know if they've had any. Big time. Hold on, what was I going to say? So the Rangers, have they released the news on Eovaldi? Like, it was a forearm strain, right? Like,
I'll pull it up right now.
Yeah, check and see if anything's there. But man, it sucks to see the Angels go on a 5-game losing streak. I mean, I can't say I'm surprised, but damn, that hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, they went out and made moves. They went for it. Didn't trade Ohtani. Giolito's gotten blown up twice. And I mean, I don't know. They added CJ Cron, which I kind of like. Adding to that rotation, adding to that lineup. But man, just an unlucky year for those guys. And 10 games out of the division right now. I'll check the AL wild card real quick before we go into the NL. But Tampa up on top by a healthy amount.
Before we move off the Angels real quick, just kind of like piggybacking on what I just said about the Astros, as much as you could, and I was somebody that was saying, like, how do you not move Ohtani and get something for him? But again, it's really nice to see when the business side of it doesn't win out, right? Like, they took the best player in baseball and they were like, you know what? We're going to keep him here for our fans for as long as we have him, and we're going to make a run at it. And there's something awesome about that, because we just don't see it enough. You see teams that are literally in first place trading away major players that are helping that team win. And then on the other side, you got the Angels that are a long shot, right? They're a long shot to win a World Series. They're a good team, but they're not a likely team to win the World Series. But they keep a lot of good faith with their fan base when you do something like that. And I think that that's important.
Yeah. I see it going both ways. I think you make a really good point there. I mean, what's the farm system anyways if they're not going to compete, period? I mean, what really were they going to get back for Ohtani?
Yeah.
But instead they went the opposite way and traded their 2 and 3 prospects. Don't know for Giolito. I don't know if that was the right dude, but at least they did something, We'll see. I mean, they could be really bad for a really long time now, but maybe they can buy some.
It could be really bad for a really long time, but at least you won't have your fans saying, I can't believe you got rid of the best player in baseball before we were done with him.
They definitely can't say that now. And then he goes crazy, and the next day throws a complete game shutout and then 2 home runs right after that. 1 hit shutout, by the way. DJ Local in with the hot news. Josh Jung broke his hand.
That's not good.
That is not good. Yikes.
It must have just happened.
That's rough.
Fractured left thumb Sunday.
Oof.
25-year-old suffered the injury during the 6th inning of Sunday's win over the Marlins while attempting to field a line drive. Doesn't have an official timeline, but he's likely looking at a multi-week absence. Okay. Also, to answer your question on Evaldi, out for at least 2 to 3 weeks, but no pain throwing from 75 feet. So hopefully working his way back sooner rather than later.
Nice. That's good to hear. Yeah. Hopefully they're healthy. Oh, here we go. Look at it. It's right on the side right here. Mm-hmm. Josh Jung, left hand. Okay, so wild card picture, we got the Rays up at the top, the Astros, the Blue Jays, and then the Mariners and Yankees are kind of sneaking in there, man. Mm-hmm. And the Red Sox, man. That's a tight 5-game spot, fighting for that last wild card spot. Definitely going to be interesting to see.
How is this? I don't even know. Does Trout come back this year?
He does.
He does?
Yeah, but I don't know when. It's going to be a while.
Yeah.
I think maybe towards the
middle of August, it looks like.
Middle of August. Okay.
So he's not too far away. So that puts the Angels for sure still in the mix for that wild card spot as well.
Yep. Yeah, for now.
Yeah, for now. Hey, you got they're if we're saying the Red Sox are still in it, then the Angels are still in it too.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, sheesh. All right, NL, and then we'll pop into the bracket and kind of wrap this all together, right? And then I want to show my gallery too and just kind of go over like some pitching stuff, before we move into like game week 37, 38. The Braves at the top by 10.5 games. That's amazing. Marlins are slipping back a bit. Brewers up at the top, and it's getting really interesting in the Central, man. Mm-hmm. Brewers at the top. That's going to be a fun race. The Cubs are on a tear.
Yep.
Do they win today against the okay. Oh yeah. Leading. Okay. Bellinger.
Yeah, they beat the Braves.
Cubs past MLB leading Braves 6-4 for 6 straight series wins. 6 series wins. That is sick. That's making me wish I didn't sell that Swanson. But I guess he got injured for a while, so I think I got $10 out of it. I don't even know what he's going for right now, but yeah, the Cubs have been super fun to watch. Mm-hmm. Stroman out though. Don't know how long Stroman's going to be out for.
Got you. The injury guy.
The Reds, they're playing good ball too. I mean, Ashcraft looking good. They get Lodolo, Hunter Green coming back sometime soon. My Giants took 3 of 4 from the Snakes. That is sick. That got me hyped up. That was the series that we needed against the D-backs. And we played all those games really tight too. That was a really good series. Was pretty glued into that.
Wow, D-backs are sliding, man. That's tough. 7.5 back now. 2-8 over the last 10.
Yep, and we're 7-3. So playing some good baseball. Mm-hmm. The NL wild card picture. We are at the top. Wow, we're at the top of the wild card picture after that series against the D-backs. So that looks really nice. The Phillies are right there. The Cubs and the Reds are tied up. Man, it is tight right in here too. Goodness.
Speaking of the Phillies, little sidebar.
Padres are 2.5 out.
Yeah, Padres 7-3 over the last 10. Did you see what happened with Trey Turner this weekend and the Phillies fans?
No.
So basically, as people know, Philly fans are known for being pretty brutal.
Oh yeah.
So if you're not playing well, they let you know. But Trey Turner he's Trey freaking Turner. The guy is good at baseball. He's just having a brutal season. And basically the Phillies fans decided that instead of letting him have it, that they were going to get behind him. So they started giving him a standing ovation for every at bat, like starting at the beginning of the series. And then he hit a 3-run homer yesterday that ultimately won them the game. And it's just this really cool feel-good story where this fan base that gets so much shit for being, pretty brutal to play for, they're deciding to step up and be like, hey, Trey, we're still behind you here, right? Because he is a good baseball player. He is going to be great playing for the Phillies. We've seen plenty of guys struggle their first year with a new team. It's a big adjustment. He was the guy in the World Baseball Classic this year. So I think that it's a really cool thing to see. And the human element of professional sports is fascinating to me. And you can only imagine what that does for the psyche of somebody that's really struggling at the plate. And it was cool. It was cool to see him come through with a 3-run shot yesterday.
That's amazing, man. Yeah, I knew he hit a bomb, and I knew he hit a double. Like, I knew he had a really good game yesterday. And you've been saying it all along, like he's gonna get good.
Yeah.
And to hear that happened is super cool, man. That's gonna be a dangerous team if they get hot again. I mean, that's just it is what it is. Like, you saw what they did last year. How, like, I mean, I don't know. They're definitely looking pretty good, man. So I mean, that's brutal too. DJ Local says Yankees booed Rodon as he walked off the mound hurt. That ain't cool.
That's tough.
That is tough, man. It sucks to see him go down.
I think that at that point, Rodon's just kind of the scapegoat of the Yankees just being brutal. Brutal.
Yeah.
Which I love.
When are the Dodgers going to be like that, man? I can't wait. Probably never.
I wouldn't hold your breath.
Oh, man. Okay, let's take a look at this bracket and then kind of wrap up like what that all means, right? So 3, for those of you who, aren't as familiar with the format of the playoffs, okay, 3 wild card teams, okay? Let me add this to the stream. Here's the playoff picture as of 2 days ago from Fox, okay? The AL right now, Baltimore, Texas, Minnesota, the Rays, Houston, and Toronto would be the 6 that get in, okay? So the best record division winner is the 1 seed. 2 seed would be the division winner with the second best record. 3 seed would be the division winner with third best record. I mean, these teams could definitely have better records than some of the other division winners, which will happen, but they didn't win their division, so they don't get a top 3 seed. Tampa.
What do you think about that? What do you think about?
It's fine. It's always been that way.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know a better solution. So
you could just reshuffle, like you could let the 6 teams make it based on that, and then you could reseed it based on record.
You could.
Just a thought. Go ahead. You can continue.
Interesting. It'd be a lot of. Yeah, I mean, I would be.
Doesn't it rub you a little wrong that the Twins are going to have a better seed than the Rays? Or do you think that the winning the division should still be sacred?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Small market. Central's always going to hurt though because they're small market. Smaller market.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know.
I'm not saying I feel one way or the other.
You know what? It's going to change up when the expansion comes anyway. So it's going to be really interesting to see what the expansion playoffs look like when they add a couple more teams.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I get that. That's a good point. But I don't know.
There's no right or wrong answer. I think it's interesting. And we're in such a time period of change with Major League Baseball right now that you just never know what they might do.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. Division winners. I mean, here's what it would look like basically. So the 1 seed would play the winner of the 4 versus 5, and then the 2 seed would play the winner of the 3 versus 6. Okay, so these are 3-game matchups. Tampa, Houston, Twins, and Blue Jays would be 3-game matchups going into the division series, which would be a 7-game matchup. And then the championship series, which would be a 7-game matchup also. So I was looking for a visual bracket to show. But basically, the 1 and 2 seeds get first round buys is basically what it is into the division series. The 3, 4, 5, and 6 have to play in a wild card series, best of 3, to move forward into the division series. And then the winner of those, they square off in the championship series. championship series goes to the World Series. So maybe we could pull up like last year's bracket or something like that. Yeah, I'll do that when we pull off screen, but that's in a gist how it goes. So 6 teams get in, but the teams that, are 1 and 2 seeds, they may or may not play more or less games because, this series is a whole extra series that you have to tie into it. And if they go on and they upset the 1 or 2, then that's a lot more games and a lot more, bets to place on those teams. If you think one of these teams may get hot and go on a run, then that's a lot of baseball to play. And I can't wait to see what the playoff format is going to be for Sorare MLB because that hasn't been announced yet either. So I'm like just chomping at the bit over here. Like, all right, when are we going to get that?
I do hope that they announce it not like the week before it happens. Give people a little time to strategize and enjoy the strategy element of it, at least a few weeks in advance,
100%. I could not agree more. I think we're ready for it.
Yeah.
The National League would be the Braves, Dodgers, Brewers, Giants, Phillies, and Reds. So if we go down here, back to that same thing. So the Braves would be the 1 seed, the Dodgers would be the 2 seed, Giants and the Phillies. And then the Brewers and the Reds in division matchup for that wild card series as of now. Interesting. Man, postseason baseball is the best.
Yep. I'm getting excited over here.
I'm getting hyped. I'm getting so hyped. I wanted to pull up my gallery and just kind of show.
I think an important thing that you just touched on, but just to hammer it home, is that when thinking about what cards you want for, and we're not talking about common because they could really reshuffle that with like swaps. Not really sure what that'll look like, but specifically talking about the paid categories, limited plus. You're going to want to have guys that, you're going to want some guys from the top teams that are going to get those buys and have the best shot to push all the way to the World Series. But making a bet on the Phillies or the Giants or the Brewers or whatever, take a team that you like that's going to be in that first round with extra games. And like you said, if they play all the way through, they're going to have the most baseball. It'll depend on how many games the series goes and how Sorare structures that. We hope that they don't make the mistake of putting it to a week long or anything silly like that. But, going and grabbing yourself some Reds players and hoping that they make a longer push than you might expect could be a really lucrative play if they get out of that wild card round and make a deep push.
100%. Can you think of any strategies just kind of like to help people out, like that you're thinking about going into it? I think for me, one of them would be pitching, right? Playoff is lower scoring. Not only is playoffs typically lower scoring, the pitching cycles are different, right? So they're going to get as much use out of their top arms as they possibly can. It's the end of the season. They'll start guys on 2 days rest, 3 days rest, use the bullpen earlier if they need to.
That's what I was about to touch on.
That type of thing. So, like one of my things is just to have a depth of arms, like because of all the stuff that I just said. And just keep in mind, like you can play a starting pitcher, a relief pitcher, and then in the flex, you can play a starter or a reliever. So if a guy's making appearances and you want to at least have some fun in the postseason, like it doesn't hurt to have a couple of arms that are just bullpen arms that you can plug into a lineup for some high upside. Basically like a high floor. Is kind of like what I think. Say there's 4 games in a week and you think, a relief pitcher is going to need to come in for some support and make some appearances. Like there's those cards are $1, you know? So you can build out depth that way and then really just kind of have bats that are like the bigger bats to kind of play on a budget money ball arena. And I don't know, we'll see, but I think that could be a successful strategy, especially if you get deeper into the postseason.
Yeah, I think you make a great point. For comparison, a lot of the contests that are being won right now are being won based on games that are, 12-8 and 9-4 and, big run games where teams explode off of a bad pitcher on a bad team. That doesn't happen in the playoffs almost ever, right? It doesn't never happen. You
Right.
could have a road game, but you're more going to be scrapping for a couple good guys that get you a home run. But you're going to see, I think, a lot more 25-point performances from hitters that are relevant than 55-point performances. And because of that, on the other side of it, I think pitching is going to be significant. I saw, DJ Local, I was just about to highlight that, have top relievers. We've already talked about the upside of having a big closer, just trying to get those 2 saves for 40 points. 40 points, you are never going to be mad about a slot having 40 points, especially in the playoffs. So I think that a 2 closer strat could absolutely play in the playoffs. I think that being aware of shorter leashes on starting pitchers, a lot of guys are only going to go 5 innings.
Mm-hmm.
Even good pitchers, it's just the way that the game is played now. I don't like it, but it is what it is.
Yep.
And so having guys that make the most of those 5 innings and have the upside to grab you 7 or 8 strikeouts in there, it matters that much more, because that's the strikeout is the equivalent of a home run for hitters. So that is what you're trying to do. And I do think that 3 pitcher strategies could really make a big difference with playoffs. And it's worth understanding how the makeup of a playoff baseball game differs from a regular season game, where we're targeting Oakland and, Kansas City and Washington. Those teams are gone. So you don't have that option anymore.
Yeah. Another thing too is like some of the rewards that I've gotten throughout the season, you just kind of think, oh man, I got that guy as a reward. But if they're a relief pitcher on a playoff team, like that gives you the opportunity to sell that card maybe for a couple bucks, like down the road. So I'm keeping stuff like that in mind. I was going to share my screen too and just kind of look at my gallery. Before I do that, I pulled up a visual of like what the playoff bracket from last season looked like, just for anybody to get a sense of it. So this is kind of what we talked about. The 5 and the 4 and the 6 and 3, they'll play a 3-game wild card series. Okay. Cleveland beat Tampa Bay last year. Seattle beat Toronto. And then Philly beat St. Louis, and San Diego beat New York Mets. Okay. And then these are, the DS is a 5-game series. I think I said 7 earlier.
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
I didn't know if they had changed it. That's why I didn't correct you. They're changing so much. But yeah, the DS is typically 5.
Okay. I knew it was typically 5. I thought they had changed it. That's why I said 7, but I guess I'm wrong. And then the CS would be, the 7-game series right there. So these games stack up. I mean, like imagine these guys, the Padres last year or the Phillies last year, right?
Yeah.
They matched up. They had 3 games here, 4 games here, and 5 games here. 3, 4, 5 is 12. 2, 4, 5. So 11 plus the World Series. The Phillies were, insane amount of games. So that's that. But I mean, here's just a look at the starting and relief pitcher depth that I have in both limited and rare in my collection. So McClanahan's hurt now, but Stephan, he gets appearances, does well. Kirby Yates even, right? He's been getting in there. Pierce Johnson, I know you love that name. Jansen, we'll see if Bo Jansen gets in there. Ashcraft and Sims has been amazing. Lynn is now on the Dodgers. Probably not a playoff starter, but like an inning eater in the playoffs potentially. He can be a guy that comes in,
Yeah, like
after Urias gives up, 3 in the first inning,
and when you get it's really important to remember, and I really, really noticed this with Pivetta being in the bullpen for Boston. You get a guy that they're using as this weird, 3, 4, even 5 innings out of the bullpen. In So Rare, you're just getting a free 5 points for getting called in out of the bullpen. And you're getting 4 or 5 innings, which 5 innings that's 15 points right there. Plus you get a bonus 5 points just for being a relief appearance. So that's significant. So a long reliever in the playoffs, those are the kinds of guys that could make a big difference in a playoff format.
Oh, we're talking about it in the Discord too. We got guys doing relief pitchers in the starting slot, playing the high floor upside. Nick Martinez has been amazing. If he gets 2 appearances, goes 2 innings, he got the win yesterday. So 17 points in 1 appearance. He only uses 2 innings of pitching And if he gets 2 appearances in a weekend, then there we go. Sean
And
Manaea, another
you
good
could do
point.
much
Nick
worse than
Pivetta, another
17 points on a starting pitcher too, even if he just gets the one.
I'm in this, these days where 17, like, yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I've been terrible, man. Like this guy right here, Christian Javier, has done me bad sometimes, but yeah. So a lot of my pitchers are going to be playoff guys. I mean, like Ranger Suarez, Javier. You got Clase. We'll see if they sneak in, but got Doval in there, Griffin Jacks. Like these, I bought this for $3. Like he's a setup man. Mm-hmm. Not only is he going to get the relief appearance, he's probably going to get a hold too.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. He could even potentially get a save. If Johan Duran's been used or whatever. Bassett I got in there. Tanner Scott. A couple Durans. Topo's been good. Presley. Basically almost all these guys are, Flaherty, that's going to be a nice one. That's a reward that I kept too, mm-hmm. Just being patient sometimes pays off. And yeah, I feel pretty good about the depth of arms that I have. I still think I'm going to need a little bit more, but we'll see.
Yeah, depth at pitcher is significant in this format, way more than I realized in the beginning. Yep. I thought if I had 3 or 4 good starters, but it just doesn't work that way because you're on shortened weeks that are not always starting for you. They could have a really tough matchup, and that equation gets even more difficult when you're facing playoff lineups. So looking at it forward into that, those contests, it's depth will be key, and those middle relievers, setup men, long relievers, guys that are getting holds, guys with high K rates, those things will play. And, the guy 6, 7, 8 hitters in a lineup, that's the kind of thing that you go and snag some of those guys, and all of a sudden that team makes a deep run. And there's only so many studs once you get into the championship series, right?
Yep,
so it's all going to get thinned out, and the player pool is going to be really small, and relievers and back half hitters they're going to play.
I like that. I really like that going into it. Yeah, I think too. Yeah, a buck, right? To have that depth there, you can use them. Having the bats is always nice too, but I have and the starting pitcher depth, like you said too, man. I think one of the things that I've realized this season strategy wise is having that depth sometimes sucks because you can't play them all at the same time, right? And when you're going for the upside, and especially during the regular season, like you want to have a solid pitcher, but it sucks to see a guy like, a big time starter that you have like Nola or something like that be chucked down to like the Sandlot lineup, or, not even playing. But at the same time, like I kind of think that having stud pitchers for me has taken a little bit of priority over like some stacks, like as opposed to like just having like middle of the order guys. Like I would rather stack Olsen and, Riley and then have like a really solid, like, starting pitcher than the rare case where I'm playing a full stack, like maybe throw Ozuna and Murphy in there. And, most of the time Riley and, Olsen is going to be sufficient enough, right? Like I said, like Murphy and Ozuna were great this week, but they did all their damage in their first game. Mm-hmm. So, especially with the catchers too. So interesting stuff, man. I love that. Should we talk about game week 37, 38 real quick before we wrap up the show?
Yeah, we can touch on it fast.
Actually, there's a couple more comments in here that I'll get to. Put some notes together too, but let me see here. Someone had asked, and I'm not going to pull it up because I don't know if I'll be able to find it, but somebody had asked what they do. Oh, here they go. What they do for the postseason last year. It was a different format for sure. There were some prizes that kind of got wrapped into it, similar to the NBA, what they did this year. But it was also a lot tougher in the comments because there was no swaps in MLB last year. So everyone was working with just really, really slim lineups, which was also kind of cool too, because I had guys like Harrison Bader and Eugenio Suarez, like, really like basically yield me a reward one week because it's the only option that I had, and they did well. So, so that's basically it. I don't know what it will be like this year. And I'm hoping that they learn from the NBA, because I don't think the NBA was a super successful, NBA playoffs for
Were
them.
you allowed to start a player that didn't have a game?
Yes, I believe. Seems like you should have been able to. Yeah.
I would hope you could.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems like you should have been able to, just to get those cards used. And even if you have
even if you only have 3 or 4 guys that are playing,
yeah,
should still be allowed to submit that.
Yeah. I think rewards probably were taken down a little bit too. Yield amounts. There's going to be less people entering too. There's going to be less competition, but people that are in there, I mean, you're going to be up against some tough competition, especially this is where having a big, deep gallery really gets you, an advantage and stuff like this. So
for sure. Miguel says you could.
Okay, nice. See, I was reading this one from Ryan. Ryan, welcome in. It's a new a new name, not super familiar, but I'm glad to have you in here. Zach Wheeler was bought the day before. He's 45% started and plays 5th. Having to use a different pitcher now. No Glasnow screwed. Yeah, Glasnow today was rough. A couple people are also filling that Glasnow. I started him in my majors lineup too, so he's been looking really good.
Your All-Star?
Yeah, All-Star.
Yeah, so did I. And I've got 190 points and a 0 from him.
Brutal. All right, let's scrape into game week 37 and 38 as we kind of wrap up the show in the next 10 minutes or so here, guys. Thanks everybody for jumping in and in the chats today. It's been an awesome show. We've had a really great crowd out there. Excited to pull in our more detailed rewards next week, but have been having a blast on the show so far. What do we got for 37?
A couple standouts that jump off the page for me, just because, as people know, I've been stacking them all year, but the Sox have a really good matchup against Kansas City. I think coming off a tough sweep against Toronto, they could really beat up on KC there. So they've got, not only are they against Kansas City, but it's 4 games. So that's really appealing. I think there's a fair number of teams with 4 games. Let me go up to the top here. I think that
I got the 4 games ready today. I got the 4 games ready for you.
You have them? Yeah, rip those off.
Yeah. Washington at Philly, 4 consecutive games. KC at Boston, 4 consecutive games. Toronto at Cleveland, 4 games. Minnesota at Detroit, 4 games. Atlanta at Pittsburgh, 4 games. And then, not against each other, but independently, Colorado and LA Dodgers have 4 games. They play 3 of them against each other. LA plays San Diego tomorrow. I forget who Colorado plays that last one, but yeah. So,
and then a unique note is that the Braves actually have 8 games, so they're going to have a rare 4-game slate in game week 38. Yep, there you go, DJ Loco.
I like it. I like that, man.
So
time to
Braves stack it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got. Go ahead.
You go.
All right. Boston against Kansas City. What else we got here? I think
Atlanta at Pittsburgh.
Yep, Atlanta at Pittsburgh. The Reds versus Miami, not bad. I think that Houston at Baltimore, some lefties could play there. What was the other? Oh, Phillies. Phillies against Washington. Super appealing stack there. 4 games in the game week. What else we got?
I mean, Toronto's could stay hot too, man. I could do a 1 lineup of a Toronto stack.
Yeah.
Just keep it up with the full stack. I want to pull up pitching matchups too. Let's see here.
Yeah, I mean, teams that are hot with kind of middle of the road matchups are always appealing. It doesn't always have to be the most advantageous if they're just playing really well. Tampa Bay has St. Louis, although they only have 3 games instead of 4. So there's a fair amount of options with 4 games this week. So if you can go that route, you should. Seattle's only got 2. San Diego's got 3. St. Louis only St. Louis has 3 as well.
Yeah. I mean, I really like Boston. Unfortunately, I don't have much Boston. I do have a little bit of a Philly, not major Philly stack going. I'll probably try to blend some of the, do a full team stack for my rare all-star. either go Philly on that one or Toronto on that one, or I don't know, maybe a mix of the two. But I've been really actually kind of liking the rare NL and the rare AL lineups. I'm starting to build a little bit of depth. Last week I went in Elias Diaz, and I want to sell him off for like 850. I'll put him up, but like, I'm also kind of down to keep him for like a core series, because I think, he's having a great season, and playing him at cores, like there's not much else to play for. So going out and hitting some tanks, is something that he's been pretty good at. And I think, $8 is not terrible to hold on to him for. So
yeah.
You could always flip it into something else, like a limited pitcher or something like that, or more so even just kind of maybe use him as a trade piece into something else with a little bit of ether cash. So
I like it.
Man, Casas has been looking good too. We were talking about that earlier. He hit another homer today.
Yeah, he's been really leaning into it. Jarren Duran too. The Sox offense is still real fun. They are absolutely worth stacking and so rare. They're going to continue to have games and series where they go off. Whether they're winning or losing the games, I don't know, but the offense is working. So looking for, I've got 3 stacks that I'm really excited about going into this week. Ace just called out again, like I said, but the Phillies are about as good. I don't think there's anything better than the Phillies this game week. They've got 4 games against Washington, so I'll be stacking them. I'll be stacking the Red Sox, and then in a 3-game week, I'll be stacking Texas at Oakland. So they don't have the benefit of that 4th game, but Texas, Philly, Boston, those will be my 3 stacks, and then I'll play an all-star lineup with my individual pieces like Freddie and Olsen and stuff like that.
Nice. We got Trevor Williams, Josiah Gray. Who else? Mackenzie Gore. Yeah, the Phillies look good. Yeah, I like that.
And they're coming off a good series.
I like when you have a couple of. It's nice to have both lefty and righty mixes in that lineup too. Schwarber's going to play every day, but like, as a lefty, I put up in the Discord the other day. You know how when you watch ESPN Statcast like on your phone and you're not watching the game because it's like a local market or whatever, like you're just not on MLB TV, and they show the batter with like their like heat zones. Schwarber, heat zone right in the middle, ice cube all around it. I'm like, dude, if I'm just looking middle to swing middle, I might be able to pump a couple homers.
Yeah. Yeah, we need him to go on a run. But Castellanos was ice cold and is now, he's been hitting home runs all weekend. If Turner's turning it around, Harper's been getting on base. So Phillies are a really exciting upside the rest of the way. I've been saying it. Turner's been killing me. There's nobody that I spent more money on individually than Trey Turner this offseason. He was the only guy that I was like, I'm going to spend $100 on one card. And that has not worked out. Which it's very upsetting because Acuna was also $100 at the time. But that's neither here nor there. But yeah, the Phillies, I think they could really turn it on. And I think not only down the stretch here, but into the playoffs. I'm hoping my yields coming from the Phillies are still in front of me here.
I think so. I think so too. I think Phillies can. We're still hunting down that first podium too, both of us. So hopefully the Phillies can take part of that. The Jays for me for sure. Hopefully come through. It's good to see that Bo Bichette didn't have any structural damage. One thing too, I was just kind of like looking at the schedule here, man, and it's kind of scary. But how good did Max Fried look?
I didn't see it. I didn't see his. I know it was his first one back.
We'll pull up the stats. Let's take a look. Max Fried in Chicago, his first start back. I think he put up 50 Sorare points. Let me see here. 6 innings pitched, 3 hits, 8 strikeouts, no earned runs.
That'll do.
Yeah, that'll do for sure.
He put up 38.
Yeah, 38
Sorare points.
Yeah.
And that's the top on the week.
That is like one of those cards that I was just like, okay, should I buy? Like on the IL. I don't typically do that because I like to, I don't know. We're in the middle of the season, right? Like you could always put money towards a player who's going to get you points like in an upcoming week or streaming pitcher or completing a stack or something like that.
Listen to this top. The pitching was weird this week. So Finnegan, Machado, Weems, Silseth, Saucedo, Brash. I haven't even heard of half of these guys. And these are the top relief pitchers in Sorare for this game week. Jimmy Lambert, Michael Fulmer, and then you finally see a big name down here with Clase. So yeah, really unique. And also Fried at 38 points, solid week, but usually you see something much bigger than that at the number one spot. So pitching got shelled, hitting showed out this week. We had some big. Schneider friggin' killed the Red Sox this weekend. Unbelievable. Who the hell is this guy?
Who is that guy?
He hit a home run in his first career at bat. He hits a home run with his beautiful mustache, I'll add. But yeah, big points here. Bellinger's still red hot. Just a lot of big offensive performances here. Adolis Garcia, 67, Lane Thomas, 93.
Dude, so, Lane Thomas is a dude. Oh man.
Pitching was a struggle this week.
Oh, another thing I wanted to bring up. Did you see? Oh man, so sad. First two pitches of that poor pitcher's career were homers.
Wait, say that again.
A guy, what was his name? They had it on Talking Baseball or something like that. Let me see if I can pull it up. But basically, a Cincinnati Reds pitcher made his major league debut as a starting pitcher. First pitch, homer, CJ Abrams. Second pitch, homer, Lane Thomas.
Man, that's a tough introduction. That is a tough introduction.
Welcome to the bigs.
Yep.
Only uphill from here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's all you could say. That's about it. I mean, we didn't talk game week 13, but I think I wrote down some like key matchups. I 6 key matchups, I guess. Washington, I mean, they can hit, man.
Yep.
They just hit, you know. Mm-hmm. They got Oakland for 3 games.
Yep.
Braves, they got 4 games. Mets, yeah, agreed. Abrams has been so good.
Unreal, dude.
It's so cool to see, man. He's good.
Yep.
Cincinnati at Pittsburgh. Love Cincinnati there. Atlanta, of course, at the Mets. No pitching anymore. St. Louis at KC. St. Louis can still hit. Arenado's been as nails as anybody in the game. Dodgers at home versus Colorado. And then Texas, San Francisco. Hate to say it. I mean, we'll probably have some bullpen games there. Texas is going to be a tough matchup for us. It's in San Francisco, Hitters Park, but we'll see how that one goes. It's Descalfani's out for the season, so we may have Kyle Harrison getting called up very soon, which could be really cool to see. Our young guys are looking really good, but I can't wait to see Harrison up in the bigs. I know he's walking a lot of guys right now, though, so we'll see how that goes. But I'm pumped to see that, but sucks to see Descalfani out of there.
Mm-hmm. Last one I would call out would be Milwaukee at the White Sox. Not a bad matchup there either.
It's in Chicago.
In Chicago.
Nice. Cool, man. Well, what do we got? Monday night, Dodgers, Padres.
It's been a good series. It's been fun to watch.
Yeah, it always is, man. Especially when the Dodgers are playing, or when the Padres are playing good.
Yeah, and they are.
I made a good play this week, and it was Will Smith. I mean, Will Smith is a lot of times a good play, but man, I got 200 points in 63rd place in that one. What was I going to say? Will Smith, I put in there. He always does well against the Padres. He hit a homer off of Blake Snell yesterday. I think Blake Snell got pieced up yesterday.
First time in a while. I watched a little bit of it.
Oh yeah, Stanfield, yeah, for sure. Mason Wynn too. Hopefully he gets called back up soon. Been looking good. All right. I got nothing else.
I got nothing. Fun as always.
Was blast. Thanks for joining us, guys. Hit the like button on this one. Thank you for being here live in the chat. It was fun. If you're watching on the second hand, come join us in the Discord. Hit the like button as well. Check out the Movember page. Check out our socials. It's all down in the description below. And we'll see you next week.
See you guys later.
Peace.